Welcome to the Extra Podcast, a production of Northview Community Church in Abbotsford, British Columbia. Your hosts, Jeff, Ezra, and Thalia, will be discussing the Bible, relevant issues, and current events each week. At Northview, we love to study God's Word and discuss how it applies to our lives, but we try not to take ourselves too seriously. So feel free to laugh with us and at us as we try to challenge and encourage you in your faith. Welcome to the Extra Podcast. This is Jeff Bucknam coming to you live from the bowels of the ship here at Northview Community Church. I am surrounded right now by a bunch of young people, and by young I mean, I don't know, what are the age groups here? I basically have I have Jessica Taves. Jess, can you say hello?
Hello.
Good. Jessica Taves, Connor Belcher.
Hello.
Eric Quatch, right?
Yeah, that's
Eric
right.
Quatch, and I don't know, Ethan Bucknam.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going good, Ethan. Thanks. Appreciate that. It's good to see you got out of bed today. Ethan is my son, of course, and this podcast is basically about the summer. It's about nepotism and the summer workers program. Or what are we doing? What are you guys doing here at Northview?
Jeff, we do day camp.
Day camp.
It's a big thing.
I don't know. So yeah, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about the day camp, and we also wanted to ask you some questions about what it's like being a young adult living in Abbotsford in 2019, and also about the culture at large. We actually have a guest producer today, Daniel Markin, who is
a familiar
often
voice.
Has been
to the
here
podcast.
has been here before. Was fired without notice.
Yeah.
And now he's back, kind of in a George Costanza way. Do you guys understand what that means when I say George Costanza?
Steinfeld, right?
Yeah, not
I don't
Steinfeld.
get it.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Is Seinfeld the one that was before Friends?
Yeah, that's anyway. So thank you very much for being here, Daniel. And now don't add any of your opinions. Anyway, listen, I wanted to ask a few questions. People don't know you guys, so I will start with Jessica. Ladies
Sweet.
first.
On the hot spot.
Jessica Taves, the reason we say this is a nepotism episode is because you are related to one of our pastors. Is that right?
It is right.
Which one of the pastors
Crystal
are you related?
Taves. Yes.
Crystal Taves, the pastor, was a pastor to women, now is the discipleship pastor, right?
Yeah, she is.
Okay. So Jess, how old are you, and what are you doing with your life?
I am 20 years old, and I'm working at the church for the summer, obviously doing day camps. During the year, I'm a student at UFB. I'm doing my bachelor's in social work, so I'm just entering into my third year. Got 2 more to go, so the grind.
And what do you want to do once you finish with your bachelor's of social work?
I really have no idea. I know I love working with women, and I love working with children. So right now I work at a recovery home for women. Most of them are between like 20 and 60 years old, and I love doing that. I also could see myself working with youth or young adult women, and kids are fun. So something in there. Yeah.
So you have a father, Bob.
Yes.
Yes.
I
He
do.
real estate agent in town. Bob Taves, shout out. Right? You need a house. You need to sell a house. He'd be a good guy. And then you have 2 brothers.
I do.
And
yes.
what are their names?
So I have an older brother, Clayton, who's married to Taylor. They just had their 2-year wedding anniversary this last weekend. And then I have my little brother, Trev, who is just coming home from Sweden as we speak.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Ethan,
Yeah.
you're a friend of Trevor's, yes?
Kind of.
You are a friend of Trevor's.
No, that's my guy.
So you are Jess's little brother's friend, which
Yes,
is
that is his
funny.
title in
That's
my
right.
phone.
Little brother's friend.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you here. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You are serving in what capacity this summer here at the church?
So this summer, I'm the assistant director of day camp, and my role is primarily recruitment of volunteers and just getting the word out of, who we need.
Do you
and
need volunteers?
We do. We do need.
What kind of volunteers are you looking for? Paint me a picture of the best volunteer that you could have.
Best volunteer. I think we need a lot of preschool volunteers right now. So the volunteers would be leading a group of like 5 preschool kids during the day. And preschool is only half day from 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. But we also need a lot of grade school volunteers. So they'd also be small group leaders. During the morning, we just do rotations at the church. And then afternoon activities, we go off campus and we hang out at the church.
Sell this to me, Jess. Sell it to me. What do I get out of doing this?
You get an awesome 3 weeks of loving Jesus and being in community, especially for youth. so many of our volunteers are kids that attend youth and are involved in the church, and we would love to grow that community.
Do they have a good time?
Oh, yeah. Such a good time. Ethan was a volunteer for so many years, so he can attest to that.
Absolutely loved it. Every minute.
Okay, I'm not to you yet, Ethan. Just stop. For goodness sake. Connor. Sorry, it's my kid. I'm just...
Well, and we also find like so many people, this is their first time or like first step into volunteering or like serving in the church. And it's just a great way to figure out what you're good at and just to connect with people at the church.
Right. So, Connor, you've been involved in the day camps for quite a while. And you work full-time here at Northview.
Yes. So I got like 2 roles this summer. I'm the director of grade school ministries during the year. So I do all the grade school stuff during the weekend and whatnot. But during the summer, I also direct day camp. So I'm in charge of the whole ship.
And your father is an elder in our church.
Yes, he's been an elder for a long time.
A little bit of nepotism there as well.
But not as much as Ethan.
Good times.
So it's like I'm like a little bit lower.
No. Yeah, true. I fully agree. So are you looking for, how many volunteers are you looking for this summer?
We have a philosophy of more the merrier. Like the more people that we have, the easier it is for our other volunteers, but it also just helps the kids get to know each other and like older people within the church. So it just helps like with more relationship building. It helps us run more smoothly. And then if you're with a lot more people your age that like the same stuff as you do, it's just a lot easier to serve alongside each other.
How would I sign up if I wanted to be a volunteer?
You should go to northview.org/daycamp, and there is a big button that says fill out this form if you want to volunteer.
Or on the Instagram, Northview Community Church Instagram, there's a link in the bio that you can
For those of you who don't use the internet, but only think social media is the thing.
Internet, yes.
Okay. This is good. So either Instagram or I can go on the website and I can sign up there. If I fill out this form, are you going to be in touch with me?
Yes, Jessica will be. Because it's her job.
Yes.
Okay.
It is my job. And you can also email me.
How long, Jessica, will it be between the time that I fill that form out and the time that you're in touch with me?
So it depends if it's a Thursday afternoon or a Monday morning. I won't usually reply over weekends, but I will try in the next day to get back to you, at least with with more information.
Jessica, Jesus worked on the weekends. Eric. Eric Quatch, you're the only person in this room right now whose parents don't work or are elders of this church. Yes?
That is very true.
Yeah. Well, thank you for making up the numbers.
Yeah, I think this kind of evens it out, right?
Yeah. Eric, where are you from?
I'm from Abbotsford, born here at an old MSA hospital.
Oh, yeah?
Before it got torn down.
Okay. And you went to high school at...
Oh, Abbotsford Traditional Secondary School. Yeah.
So you had to wear a uniform all the time.
Yeah, good old uniform. Good polos, khakis.
I see you're still wearing that. That's great.
Oh, yeah. You know it.
Even after the fact. And you've been working at the church, though. I've seen your face around a little bit.
Yeah.
You've been working since when?
So I was a summer worker 2 years ago. And then...
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it a lot. It was very, very nice.
What was nice about it?
Just working together with an amazing team that, wants to pour into volunteers and kids and work alongside people that just really want to share about Jesus, along with just all these people. So it's just really cool. And just felt really filled from that.
So you came back then the following year?
I did not.
You did not. You skipped and then you came
I
this
skipped a
year.
year.
And now you've been around for a little while. And what's your title?
And so during the year, I got hired last August as the grade school assistant. So I just kind of do whatever Connor wants me to do.
Oh.
Kind of, work on curriculum or stuff like that, get supplies together and all that. And then, now I picked up more hours, so I'll be helping out at day camp this year as well during the summer.
That's fantastic. So you're going to be around. What's your job at day camp?
I'll be helping out your son here for
So you're actually
activities.
working for him?
Not for him.
Okay.
More like a
coworker.
Coworker,
I love
you
it.
know. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Well, welcome. We're so great to have you, man.
Yeah.
Finally, last but certainly not least, my son. Have you cleaned your room yet?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Ethan, tell people a little bit about yourself.
My name's Ethan Bucknam. I'm son of Jeff Bucknam.
That's
been
the
living
thing
here.
You lead with.
Well, I don't know what else to say, man. I've been living here since I was a little boy. Graduated from MEI last year. Went to Trinity Western this past year. Absolutely loved it. Now I'm working here at Northview all because of nepotism.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
You kind of
Loving
get
life.
sick of people saying that to you, though, right?
That's
All because
fine.
of nepotism thing. I
No,
bet
it's
all of
funny.
you guys do get sick of that because it's actually they've all served very much in the children's ministry over the years. All of you guys, at some level or another, have been actively involved in the children's ministry for quite a while. What's your role, Ethan? What are you doing?
I am the activities director, not kind of. So I basically am in charge of all the activities, what we're doing. So
What are you doing? What kind of activities are you doing?
We're going to play some games. I basically just, I organize the games that we're going to play on Monday
What
and
games?
Tuesday night. You want to come play?
Poker?
It's a,
You gonna play
it's a
poker with
surprise,
these kids?
man. It's a surprise.
What games?
Like capture
on,
the
give people
flag.
an
We're doing
idea.
a massive scavenger hunt on Fridays
Oh my goodness,
at Alder Grove Park. That's going to be sweet.
that sounds fantastic.
So
Are you? You guys need to have people in the. Is there still room if I wanted to sign my kids up for day camp? What kinds of ages would I be doing that, and would there be room for me even now?
There's very, very limited room, but you could maybe get in.
Yeah. So no, but that if somebody is hearing about it just now, our day camps fill up really quickly, and if they wanted to have, if they have kids from ages what to what?
We got preschool camp, so if your child is going into kindergarten in September or is going to be 4 years old in September or
Yeah.
is 4 years old, then we have a few spots remaining in our preschool camp. It's the last 3 weeks of July that we have camp going. And then grade school, I think we are pretty much we're getting close to capacity. So I
So
think,
if you want to get your kid in,
Yeah,
you
like-
need to act now.
yes, like
Right.
right now, get the credit card and all the info.
Well, you need to go online to the same.
Yeah, northview.org/daycamp. It's got all the info and whatnot that
Right,
you would
and,
need to
and
register.
instead of hitting the volunteer button, you want to hit the register button.
Yes.
Also, if you really want your kid in day camp, you can sign up to volunteer and then bring your kid alongside, especially in preschool. We love mom and dad volunteers in preschool, so
That's great.
sign up
So special treatment is given to people who
for
volunteer.
sure.
I
Top
love
of the
it.
list.
I love it. Well, that's fantastic. Well, thanks a lot for serving here this summer. I'm sure things will go really well. The first week at day camp happens right after Canada Day, yes? Or during Canada Day?
No, on July 8th.
A week after Canada Day.
Yeah, we want a long weekend.
Yes, excellent. Do you? In the past, you really haven't had one. You guys started it a week before.
Yeah,
on Canada Day.
Well, and we used to, and then we realized that like half the kids are gone that day
Yeah.
because everyone else wants a long weekend.
Yeah.
So we decided to switch it up.
Good. So 3 weeks this summer. If you come around the church, you'll see all sorts of mayhem and apparently scavenger hunting. And Ethan, any water games will be happening at all?
we have a massive slip and slide, and we're going to.
Are you going down the
some
slip and
inflatables.
slide?
Sure, of course.
Are you?
Of course.
We'll make them.
Oh, you're not gonna have to make him. I've seen him. Slip and slide comes out.
That's
he's,
my
he's
stuff.
Ready to, he's
I
ready
love
to go.
those.
He's ready to go.
I'll be the first one. I'll head first.
Really?
Eyes closed. Can't lose.
Really?
That's right.
Yeah, you guys should do like a speed thing going down the slip and slide. That's a quick way to hurt people. You shouldn't do that.
No.
So I have a question. My question for you guys has to do with you're all various ages. Ethan, you are
18.
18. Eric,
19.
19. Connor,
I am 23.
23. Jess,
20.
20. Daniel, how old are you now? 30?
25.
25 years old. So you are what we call lovingly millennials.
Indeed.
No,
Right?
I don't think.
Why don't you speak? Daniel, if you're going to speak, you got to go right up into the microphone,
Yeah,
buddy.
I think your friend Gene Twangy would disagree. I think millennial it cuts off at 94, and then 95 is the
So 94
Gen
meaning
Z.
meaning you were born
1994.
1994. So you guys are the next young generation. I have a question for you. There is an enormous amount of falling away from the faith among people your age. So why? What would you say? You can jump in. What would you say the reasons are, from your point of view, why it is that so many people your age don't continue in the faith?
I think from my point of view, with friends from high school and just people that I've seen and I've just noticed that they've been walking away, is their lack of involvement and prioritizing of church and young adults and community in that. Andy Steiger is a huge advocate for our need for community, and it is totally, it just sees like, I see those who don't prioritize Sunday church and they would rather study or sleep in after a long weekend. It seems I obviously don't want to diagnose or whatever, or say that someone will fall away, but it is so quickly how as soon as that slips, I see so many people, slowly coming less and less after that.
Anything else? Yeah.
I think when people leave their high school bubble, they start to realize that life is so much more than just going to school and coming home. So then they start to hang out with their friends, and then their friends start to go to the parties, and they start to do all this stuff that they think is super, super fun. And then they don't, on the weekend, they prioritize having fun and going out with their friends rather than going to church. And so then their community, just like Jess was saying, their community is the people that go to the club and people that, that aren't in the church and that don't have the same mindset and morals as they do. So
there's this guy years ago who wrote, he was a sociologist, and his name was Peter Berger, and he wrote about what he called plausibility structures, meaning that the reason that you believe a particular thing is not usually because you've tested its merit and come to a good conclusion about whether or not it's true or false. Usually the reason you believe what you believe is because your friends believe it. And what he called that what do you call it when you believe something because your friends believe it? He would say that you believe it because it's plausible to, that there's a structure for the plausibility of it. Mm-hmm. And that's been built up by the opinions of all the people around you and stuff. And so this is why church is such an important and valuable part of following Jesus, is that it helps to build a plausibility structure for the truths of the Christian faith. Or why when you start spending all your time away from other Christian people, and the people you really want to get along with are people who are not part of the church, it ends up killing that plausibility structure. So a lot of times the reason people fall away or they continue to follow is because it depends on the strength of their plausibility structure or which plausibility structure they're building.
Yeah, I think I would add to that. It's been interesting reading through the volunteer applications of a lot of the high school kids, and often when they say one of the questions is, when do you become a Christian? And often a lot of the kids know when they made their faith their own. That's kind of a common time period. And I think that's so often the case that of high school students living under their parents' roof, if they've never been taught how to read the Bible, how to make their faith their own, and what a relationship with the Lord looks like, then they leave and they get into busy seasons and they don't prioritize being in the Word and actually getting to know God as their God and their Father and what a relationship with Him looks like. And then, with our world that it's at right now and how quickly we're swinging all over the place and there's no consistency, I'm not surprised how many people are falling away, because there's no depth in who God is. So why would you follow Him if you don't know?
Right, and a lot of the depth and that kind of thing is going to come from what you learn, and you learn it ultimately at church. Connor, what do you not? I'm going to ask all of you guys this question. So I want to know what it is that you like about church and what it is that you don't like about church. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do what I like about church.
Okay, what you like. So tell me, not just about church. I mean, yes, generally about church, but I want to know what helps you engage as a young adult in the church, and what helps to keep you coming to the church, and that kind of thing. How can we as a church help you and help your friends continue to follow Jesus or to start following Jesus? What would a church that does that look like?
For me, I just finished a bachelor's of communication at SFU, and I think one of the biggest perceptions that Christianity or the church has in like a secular university is that Christianity has nothing to offer for the world, that they don't really have answers to like our questions that we're asking. And so for me, what I've really loved about the church as of late is that they're now starting to answer those questions in a way that actually makes sense.
Like what? What kind of questions are you talking about?
I'm talking about really big questions, like what's the meaning of life, or what is the purpose of my body or my sexuality, or what is like in a day-to-day, like how am I supposed to live my life? I think Christianity has a lot to say and a lot to offer in that respect, and I feel that is why I really like the church and my faith, is because I know that I can put my faith in something that actually works and makes sense of the world.
Would you say that the churches that you've attended you've largely attended Northview.
I've only attended Northview.
I'm happy for you to say that this is not the case, but like that They engage with those questions?
Yeah, so that like as much that so I think for me when I say that, that's also the one thing I think a lot of churches do poorly, is that church becomes very routine and they don't want to engage with like really sometimes difficult questions and maybe give answers that's not attuned to culture or what the mainstream says. And so I feel like as soon as they do that, they essentially lose young adults and like friends that I know, that because they're just not willing to like answer those questions and really give any sort of substance to them. And so when people go to a secular university, they're going to find the answers that they're looking for.
Eric, what keeps you going to church? Like, or what would help you? Like maybe right now you're ready to not attend church anymore.
Right now.
But
Okay.
what would keep? No, let's seriously. What would keep you coming, or what in your mind? What are the marks of a really good church?
I would say good leadership or great leadership.
You got it here,
You know.
buddy.
Yeah, and we got it
You
here.
know what I mean?
And just like having a firm vision, and like Northview, we like revitalize or like revision like what we want to do, and that's like make disciples, right, and do all of that. And so it's really really affirming to see that and see that that across like all departments or like all ministries that we do here at this church, that we have this common goal here. And like in Kidsman, we want to make disciples. That's what we're doing, because that's what that's our vision for this church, and that's what we're doing everywhere else, right? And so that's really affirming to know that.
So a clearly stated vision, and one that carries through the entire church. That
Exactly.
we know what we're trying to do, we know what we're after, and we're able to judge things that way.
Exactly. And just like Northview, it's such a big church, right? And we have so many staff members for each of these things, but we're all unified, and we know what we're trying to do here and what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Ethan, what do you got?
What was the question? What keeps me
Yeah,
going?
this is not good.
No,
You're
no,
not
no.
even listening.
I want to know what question I'm answering.
Well, what is it that you would like? What do you like about the church? I'm going to come around on the second round here and ask you, what would you like to see changed? You got a lot of those, I know. But what current, like, what keeps you going to church? What kinds of things are about our church or about a church that you would keep going to? What are those things?
For me, I'm a very, very social person, and I love people. So if my community and my friends are doing something, that's going to make me want to do it more. So the fact that Northview has such great community and that's pushed among the young adults, that's what Jessica was saying. And Andy he loves community, and so the fact that my community
He also loves his
comes
book.
here.
Anyway, keep going.
The fact that my community, my friends, the people that I associate myself with, they all attend Northview, makes me want to come more.
So when you say community, you mean what you mean is the desire to gather, and not just gather and look at the back of each other's heads, but spend time with one another. Like, we have a lot of food around here.
Oh, yeah.
And that's on purpose. We want to fatten people up for the day of slaughter. But other than that, we also want to help them. Food has always been people talk over food. You feel much
Totally.
more comfortable if you got a muffin in your hand or whatever as you're talking to somebody else. And so it tends to grease the wheels of community life.
Well, I'll walk into the church and I'll say hi to as many people as possible because everyone is so super friendly and they just like to have a conversation. And I've been working over at East Abbey, and after every service, there's it's just so cool for me to see the hundreds of people that just stand in the courtyard of the ACS school, and they're all just hanging out, having a coffee with a muffin or whatever they're baking that day, just conversing about really whatever. And it's just cool to see that, like, this is the Christian base, right? This is like, these are the people, these are fellow believers, because the world isn't all full of believers, and it's just cool to just realize that there's actually a lot of us, and we we're powerful together.
Yeah. Jessica?
I'm thinking, so why I want to continue in the church and in fellowship with other believers. I think.
What can the church do to help you to continue to do that, or what kinds of marks of a church that does that well? Would there be?
I think something that is so big for me, and I'm sure with a lot of people, is to be in a community with people, or to be in a church that takes the word seriously, and takes the Bible for what it says, is such a huge value for me. And so I know in attending young adults or in attending church or even community groups, I know that with disputes over whatever. Like, I think it's just so much with like our culture of how much things change so much. But if we can all agree on the fact that what God has said is good and it's Holy Spirit inspired, and we know the Bible is true, then being in a community or being in a church that is such a high value in all different ministries, in youth and young adults, and in just the weekly services, I think that has been so encouraging for me. And
Do you think that that's a draw for people, or is that more of a turn? When I say people your age, or is that more of a turnoff for some? I mean, I'm just knowing culturally there are those who would be like, "No, man, we don't want you to be dogmatic or clear about a particular thing. We just want you to be open to everybody's viewpoint." But what you're saying is, no, actually, I want to know what's clear. Is that just you, or is that?
I think I think that's like natural responses. Like you see that in the Bible with Jesus' preaching and as well as Paul's, is the different responses of the people and how so many will reject it. But I think and especially with those who I've talked about with faith, like those who I work with. I'm also a lifeguard at the City of Abbotsford Pools, and
Which
just
one?
Both of them, MRC, ARC.
Oh, the inside ones.
Yes.
Do you do the outside one?
No, I don't. Oh. No, I don't do those ones. It's too bad. I work here in the summer, so. But I think
So on the slip and slide, if I'm drowning, you come and help?
If you're drowning on the slip and
Ethan,
slide, I don't know if there's
safe,
much
buddy.
help. I forget where.
I'm sorry.
No, that's
slip
okay.
and slide joke threw you off.
I think taking the word, and having this sure foundation of what it is super attractive to so many people because things change so fast. Being able to have a foundation, and I think those who I've chatted with and who've invited to Northview love the preaching, and they love the fact that we are sure of what we believe and we're not willing to be swayed just because the culture is pressuring those to do so. So even friends who aren't believers have affirmed me in my how I won't sway. Like it's written, and this is what I believe, and I see that as a good quality, even though it might be more attractive to be the one preaching, to be more loose with your
you get nicer
opinions.
emails if you're loose.
But I think for those in the audience and in the church, it's way better, and people like it more, I think.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want to see changed? Connor, we'll come back to you. What do you want to see changed? Remember that you work here, Connor, and your boss is in the room. Go ahead.
Like, what do I want to see changed at Northview, or just in?
No, totally. I would like you to hear from you that if you could change anything about Northview, I'm going to give you what is Aladdin's out right now, right? Okay, you're going to rub the lamp, and out comes
Will Smith.
Daniel, and he's going to grant you these wishes, 3, but in this case, only 1. And you get to change anything you want to change about Northview Community Church. And I'll give you an out here. You can do it about the church in general, or you can do it about Northview. And I'm happy to hear it and hold you accountable for everything you say. Go ahead.
So no pressure, right?
No pressure.
Man, from my perspective, I would I think one thing that Northview has done so well is that we have become very committed to the Bible, and I love that. I think the one thing where we need to, if I was going to say the church needs to improve upon, is that I would love to see this church serve each other more.
So what do you mean by that?
That is just serving, whether that is in grade school, whether that is at day camp, whether that is just being an usher, whether that's just helping in the kitchen. I mean, I think I've seen so many, even I've only done this for a year, and I have seen so many people just come alive when they start serving each other. And I feel that is one thing I wish that everyone knew. I could change that everyone would just have a desire to serve one another.
Well, you're actually helping yourself out to be. I mean, it's not uncommon for me to hear somebody say, "Well, Northview's so big, it's hard for me to get connected." And the first response that many people have is, "Well, you should get into a community group," which, of course, that makes a lot of sense.
Totally.
I often tell them that the first thing you should do is find a place to serve in the church. By serving, you end up forming part of a community, being part of a community, and you get involved in the life of the church and the heartbeat of it. And you will fall in love with the church, the people involved in it. I don't know how many spouses have been matched up through service in this church.
Yeah, Connor was matched up.
Yeah, lots and lots of them. Some of you guys are waiting. You know, right, Eric?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like Daniel, kind of, but right, Daniel? Yes. Yeah, kind of. Not really. Anyway, my point is though that you like it really is the way to get connected into a church this size.
Yeah, and I mean to add on that, I would just say like if you're gonna serve in the church, I would just go 110%. I find people there are so many like just different people I know that have just committed to like serving in one ministry like every week, and you can just really see them flourish and grow and just get to know people on a really consistent basis, and it makes this church seem a lot smaller than it actually is.
Yeah. Eric, what do you got? You can change anything.
Oh man.
Rub that lamp and Daniel comes out.
All right.
You ain't never had a friend like him.
All right. So something I'd change. That's a tough one, but one that pops into my head, and usually I see this when I go to young adults, but we can get very cliquey, right? And so then for new people coming in, right, it's very hard to try and get plugged in and feel like welcomed, and that's what we want to do, right? That's how we want to welcome these people and make them want to come back. We want to make them feel included. But I'm guilty of it too. Like when you go and you see your friends and then you just stick with them.
Well, and that's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
If you're really focused on community, you end up forming deep bonds and good relationships with certain people, and you're really excited to see them, especially in young adults, right? It happens every other week, right? So you come on a Friday and you show up and you're excited to see these people, and then you see these people, and if you're new, sometimes it's hard to break into those things. So people need to have kind of a mental awareness saying, actually, I'm here on the one hand to see my friends, but on the other hand, to serve by being hospitable to all those who I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like my friend, he came this past week actually to NYA for the first time, and I was very impressed actually because lots of people just welcomed him and they had like very intentional conversations. So that's really cool to see, and so hopefully we can see that
good.
more.
Good.
So,
Ethan, what do you want to change, Pastor?
I was talking about how much
pastor. You want to change it, Pastor?
if I
don't you?
could change one thing, I would remove Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of awful.
That might have some ramifications on you personally, just so you know. Like you live in our house.
Where would we go?
I don't. Somewhere far away, son. Somewhere
enough,
far
fair enough.
warmer.
That's a
far
win.
away. No kidding.
I'm just,
It's sounding
I'm
better
just
every
playing.
moment.
I'm just playing.
What would you change?
I want to see church not be a place that people come to for an hour and then leave immediately. I want to see people, like I was talking about how much I love the community, right? And I would love to see people make more time out of their day or out of the Sunday, or maybe even come, I don't know, if there's another way that, I don't know, that would be kind of weird to make work, but on
You
their
want it to
Sunday,
be around more often,
I want them
though.
people to come to the church for community, right? So they come to Northview on a Sunday morning and
Yeah.
they stay after the service,
Yeah.
and they they'll hang out with their friends, or they can have a coffee, or
Which,
there's
by the
just
way, is a
place
really
to-
we are increasingly having that kind of
Mm-hmm.
opportunity here, right? Because we've done some food services and stuff during the year, and if you're in East Abbey, you can go between the services up in Mission. They do some stuff there too, and so we have at each one of our campuses we have stuff, and we do brunch here on the Sunday mornings, or Saturday night we have a meal beforehand. So there's lots of opportunity for you to stick around and get to know people. One of the challenges of a church our size is we get a lot of people who come and go quickly, right? And we'd like to, like, our goal is to get in people's way. Right now, we're trying to put community spaces in people's way so that they have to walk by a little bit of food or a little bit of friendliness on their way out, so that they get stuck and have to stick around for a little while, because it is a real great experience.
Yeah, I know. I just, to me, community is so important, and just I feel like some other people that they would have testified this, that the community and people are so important to spiritual growth and just growth in general in your life and healthiness and stuff. So I feel like if you can find friends and people to have conversations with that also want to talk about God and not just want to talk about work, right, or whatever's going on that week in the NBA finals or the NHL, right? Like, it's so important to just have friends that also love Jesus, you know? I also think we need smoke machines in worship.
Attaboy. There it is.
Some lasers.
That was the thing. He's not kidding, by the way.
I'm serious.
He's right into it. Little bit of red haze, a little purple haze
little
right there.
Hillsong Young and Free.
I love it. Let's do it. Let's
Why-
absolutely do it.
What are we waiting for?
Hey, the fire extinguishers. Actually, the fire things
Fair
go
enough,
off
fair
whenever
enough.
we do anything like that. You're a smart kid.
Not really.
No, honestly, out of all these people, I think you're the smartest kid.
It's my guy.
I'm kidding. I'm
my
kidding.
guy.
I'm kidding. Jess,
All right. I have two things.
why
but
are you so quick to make this? It sounds like you've been
I've
itching,
been-
ready to go.
Well, I've been listening to all these other answers, and I'm excited. I have two things that I would like to get changed.
Daniel, two wishes here.
But they mesh into one. So it's just a little, it's kind of like two streams coming into a river. Okay, so I recently I've been reading through the book of Acts with the leadership team for day camp. We have a group of like 20 lead team members. And so as we're reading through the book of Acts, I like time and time again, I'm just blown away for the urgency of the gospel and evangelism and the boldness of the apostles. And it has moved me in such a cool way. And this has also been a huge passion of mine. Just asking the Lord for guidance and wisdom for conversations outside of this church and how to spread the gospel clearer and better. And so I think just like, I would love to see, like, I don't know if like a revival is the right word, and it might be a
Good
bit
word.
too charismatic.
No,
but
not too
for us,
charismatic.
but
All the right stuff. Love it.
just to see like people's eyes opening up that heaven and hell is real, and the gospel message is the way, the truth, and the life, and that there's no other way to heaven except through Jesus. And to see that and to sit in it and to allow that to just move them into a way that they will get outside their comfort zones and stop caring what people think of them. So that's like my like heart and my passion for this church, and I would love to see.
What one of just along that line, and then you can give your second wish
Okay,
here. But
yeah.
we next year are just in the process right now of thinking through some of the ways that we're going to try to do an alpha sort of program thing. We're going to do it
So
kind of as a
cool.
whole church. So it's not just going to be a program that we run on the side. We're going to try to run it through our community groups and some
I love that.
focus around that thing, mostly because of the very
Yeah.
thing that you just said. Our heart is to see lost people found, and for people who've been wandering away from the faith to return to the fold, and people who are currently walking with Jesus to get a heart for their lost friends and neighbors. So we are going to be praying about that, and we're going to be planning some stuff. You'll hear around the church in the fall especially, you'll hear lots of stuff about how next year we're going to try to focus on some of that and even do some programming around it, which will be really
cool.
really great. Anyway,
Yeah.
your second wish.
Second wish is, especially because of my schooling and my job during the school year, is I have it's so evident the marginalized in Abbotsford and those people who do not know Jesus and do not want anything to do with Jesus and do not like the church or have been hurt really badly by the church. So it could be people in low income housing or high income housing or just people from all over and in our streets, like in Abbotsford, in our schools. And I would love, we do like an after school program called Village Kids with Godson Elementary students. And that is so amazing that I'm like, if we could do that 5 days a week with 5 different elementary schools, like we have the resources and I feel like we have a lot of staff. So it's like, I would love to see that like pushed and way more just inclusive people and meeting people where they're at, not necessarily expecting people to come to our ministries, but going out and providing those resources and reaching everyone.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I have all sorts of things. There's all sorts of really cool things, church planting wise, happening in the next hopefully year or so. That works some
Yeah.
partnerships and some other things that are on the horizon, Lord willing, that will get us more and more involved in that particular segment, or especially our city and stuff like that. Daniel, can you handle all those wishes? You made them come through. Why are you saying 2?
You got 2 minutes.
Got 2 minutes. Well, my 2 minutes. Okay. So in these last 2 minutes, I'm going to ask you perhaps the most important question that there is to be asked. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are the Raptors really Canada's team? Go.
Who's first, me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no.
No, they're not. No, they're
Toronto's
not.
overrated.
Well, there
You
it
heard
is.
it here
Eric,
first.
what do you got? Eric, are you a Raptors fan?
I am a Raptors fan.
Why? How long have you been a Raptors fan? A couple weeks now?
No.
Has it been?
For 4 years.
For 4 years?
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Rubbish.
Absolute trash that you just said that. No way. No
sorry.
way. You don't even know them. You had never knew them. Everybody's a Raptors fan now, and nobody even knows that Vince Carter played for the team, for goodness sake. It's ridiculous. Somebody the other day was like looking at the shirt that Drake was wearing. They're like, Curry played for the Raptors? Yes, his father. Listen, Ethan, you're a big Raptors fan, right?
Oh yeah, I love them.
You are. Do not. Stop it.
No, I would hate them.
No.
Hate's a strong word, but I do not like them at all.
Jess?
Very impartial. Do not care. A lot of my friends are Raptors fans, so I cheer them
They are
on
now.
as they cheer on the Raptors.
They are now. And Daniel?
I'm a Golden State fan. Been Golden State fan since day
Wow.
one. Day one, bro.
Wow.
I love
Proud
LeBron.
of you.
I love
So here's my question: why do you
Curry.
think so many people are Raptors fans? Is it it's the
Canada versus the
it's the
America.
Canada-U.S. right?
I think it's Drake.
The
I
reason
would
I'm
agree.
not
I'm a fan because of Drake. So
really
no, I don't.
the reason I'm not a fan is because of Drake. He's driving me nuts. This guy. I want to cheer for I really want to like them, but then Drake's face comes in my mind,
Jeff,
and
have you followed any of the stuff on the Drake curse? Anytime he
he's-
cheers for a team and then
Yeah.
puts their jersey on, the team ends up
Yeah.
losing in the playoffs.
Here's the thing, though, that the Drake curse is basically equivalent to the Bucknam curse. And I'm telling you right now, Ethan, am I on the
Oh, yeah,
truth
Ethan's
here, right?
wearing an Arsenal jersey
the
right
teams
now.
that we cheer for, the Bucknams cheer for, they will get close but lose.
Yes.
Always.
So this is a cosmic battle that's going on between the Raptors and the Golden State Warriors, because I'm kind of leaning Warriors.
Are you
Which
a
means, of
dynasty
course,
guy?
that Drake is sort
I'm
of
a dynasty guy.
I'm a dynasty guy too. Yeah.
No,
I
the
love it.
answer is that Kevin Durant was a Seattle Supersonic. Okay?
Silver lining right here.
And so Kevin Durant as a Seattle Supersonic means that he will forever be in my heart, regardless of where he plays.
That's a really touching way to end
It
this
is.
podcast.
It is a
Thank you for
delightful
that.
way. Hey, listen,
who's
I want
Kevin?
to thank you all for being here. It's very lovely to see all of you. I thank God for what He's doing in your lives. And this summer, it's going to be a great time. Last words, final words. Eric, you got any final words?
Raptors in 6.
Raptors
I say go Gunners.
in 6, and then 20 years from now, you'll wonder, where's Kawhi? Because he's leaving, what, a couple weeks here? Week?
Yeah, probably.
He's basically gone? Okay.
Yeah, he's a rental.
My last word is volunteer at day camp.
Okay.
That's right.
And what do you got, Ethan?
Go Gunners.
Attaboy. He's wearing an Arsenal shirt. Attaboy. And Daniel?
Go Villa. Back in the Premier League.
All right. Well, this podcast is dying a slow death. Thanks so much for listening. We will be back next week with more listening pleasure.